Okay. Hey everybody, so I'm here with a ghost, and you'll hear that ghost voice here in a second. She's in her jammers and doesn't want to be on camera. I wanted to get on here and say something because I wasn't going to come on until I actually heard from the insurance. And I haven't heard anything. I called them and left a message and asked that they call back in a timely manner, and still haven't heard anything. I expected that since they got the information on the style, make, and model, and length, and whatever, that I would get a base. This is all we can offer you because this is what it's worth, and which would have been on a basic model, not on what my actual model is, because I was dealing with a woman who can't understand English, so she had a drunk ask me all the other information, which I guess I shouldn't be talking about that because I'm a little toasty myself right now.
Yeah.
Found my wine, so I've been drinking that. But anyway, so I wanted to touch base and give you a little update on what's been going on since I've moved the trailer. And this park I'm not going to review. I don't review parks that I'm living in, and this one I plan on living in, so I'm not going to review it. But I have been working on the trailer, and you will see Jerry. Jerry's been helping me out with trying to get it dried out. And I told you guys about the bottom being like full of water. I have his wife Melissa with me, and she was in the vehicle when they were driving it, and the bottom being full of water.
Oh, the trailer rocked back and forth.
Yeah.
It was actually like it was swaying behind us.
Yeah, it was like,
and it was actually the water that's underneath it.
yeah. And when we cut underneath it, he got drenched with water, opening that up, and that was what, 4 days after the initial flooding.
Almost 5 days.
Yeah, 5 days. So we've opened that up so it can air out and try and prevent some of the molding is what I was concerned about.
Mm-hmm.
But what I've been noticing since I've been in here cleaning and trying to, assess more of the damage, is that I'm getting more warping, and I'm getting more of the laminate pulling away from the wood, because I've been washing the floor, and I've been trying to get up this white powdery stuff that doesn't seem to go away, and where it came only into the center when I officially called the inside dry, which is not now. It's now almost all the way to the cabinet, and I'm really scared that eventually I'm going to end up having to have the whole floor replaced.
Yeah.
And it's starting to feel real gushy, and that's another thing that's been scaring me.
Mm-hmm.
And dealing with insurances, you have to wait so damn long that you end up with more damage. And then if they would have just come in, gotten it taken care of, and you get in there and you get it stopped before it continues to wick through the rest of your trailer.
Right.
But I did the best I could. I mean, I came in, within 10 hours, 12 hours of it happening, and because I was in another state, and we came in and did everything we could. We pulled everything that was drenched out, and got fans on it, and put a wet vac and did everything we could to dry it out. We did the best we could with what we had. So I don't know what else I could have done. I came into the trailer park with a functioning, very nice trailer, and whether the trailer park owner wants to say that or not, because she's like, it ain't worth nothing, and walked out with, it ain't worth nothing. So it's been very frustrating, and the attitude in the park after this happened. I mean,
the attitude changed tremendously.
Yeah, I mean, including lying. I mean, people willing to lie.
Yes. Yeah, it was Eric and Alexandra Murray are the ones that said they would back the owner up and say that they saw you physically turn the water on. Okay, first of all, there's no way that could happen.
Right.
The connection was behind your RV.
Right.
They cannot see behind you unless they come out and walk around your camper.
Right.
So that was a blatant lie.
Right. Well, and beyond that is because of my travels, I am part of Life 360, and my system on my car logs where I am all the time. But I'm not always with my car, but my phone is always with me. So Life 360 gauges where I am, so I can bring up date and time wherever I am. So the time frame of which they would have seen me, I was on the road towards Mississippi, and so there's just really no way that would have ran in court. So,
right.
But yeah, the fact that they're willing to do that is just amazing. So, and in fact, Melissa and Jerry ended up having to leave the park too because it's just
Yes, we pulled out yesterday.
Yeah.
Wasn't going to put up with this anymore. The criminal element, the criminal activity that's going on in that park is beyond anything we're used to.
Right.
I mean, we're used to staying in nice parks and nice resorts. That doesn't cut the mustard over there.
Right, and just the
it's trash. It's absolute trash in that park.
Right.
And if this is how she wants to run her park, so be it.
Right.
The funny thing is, this is the second RV that was damaged in that park within a 5-day time frame.
Right.
Like I said, the previous one was a brand new windjammer bumper pole, and he had his entire side window shattered out of it while he was at the races down here for Derby weekend in Hot Springs.
Now he's the one that actually would come to the park on an annual event.
Yes.
For
yes.
the thing.
And he came back to find a completely shattered side window in his trailer. Now, the owner didn't attempt to call him and tell him, "Oh, I'm sorry, but your window has been busted."
Right.
No, not a word.
Yeah.
And the next morning is when he packed up and left. He had a black plastic trash bag over it, taped up, and they went back to Texas.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to be coming back.
Right. Well, I think the change that happened in that park is she's now a widow. Her husband died last year. Correct?
A year ago, yeah.
A year ago. So, she's just, her heart's not in, and never was in the park. That's not her baby. That was her husband's baby. Mm-hmm. She has the park up for sale.
Right.
And she had hoped that the park would sell fast. So she hasn't done anything to keep it up. Mm-hmm. And once I get everything together, and one of the other issues is I don't have my computer up here, so my editing abilities are very lax. And I have film that needs to be edited in. You
all
guys
thanks
need
to
see
me,
it.
Pictures that I took before I pulled out.
Yeah.
I'm an extremely brazen individual. Don't really care what you think or what you say. I'm going to get out of the car and take pictures.
Right. So we've got some pictures of stuff that really needs to be added in.
Yes.
So those will be on there. But she has she's let it go, and the element that's there makes you feel very uneasy, and to have a child there, there's people there that you just don't want your children around.
No.
Especially a child that's going to want to go in that pool, and that pool's disgusting. That pool is,
green and slimy, and here we are almost into May when the pool should be open.
Yeah.
And there is no way that pool's going to get open.
No, it's just going to get worse as soon as it starts getting hotter.
Well, that's where the ducks and the geese will start landing out of the pond.
Right.
Instead of the pond, they're going to want to go to that.
Right.
So it should be interesting in another month when you go by and see the geese swimming around in the pool.
Right, and doing their business.
It's going to look like something straight out of National Lampoon's Vacation.
Yeah.
That swimming pool that was full of slime and the ducks.
Yeah.
That's what I thought of when I saw it.
Yeah. But I've been watching that place for years and driving past it for years. I've been coming up here for about 6-7 years and wanting to do, a piece on there. And I find it strange that I'd wait until after the husband died to get there.
Yeah.
And that it would go down that fast. Because I always saw really nice rigs in the RV area.
Right.
And then when I get there, there's, bad.
Trash trailers parked, tarps hanging over them to prevent leaks coming through the roof.
Right.
They, some of them have empty freezers turned upside down next to their RVs. Some have refrigerators outside and every belonging they own around their trailer.
Right.
Yeah, it's a very unimpressive, very disgusting environment.
Right.
Like I said, this is not what we're accustomed to.
Yeah.
And when we pulled in there, of course, there was a nice rig park next to it, people from California. There were a couple other very nice RVs in there.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, come February, these people all kind of dispersed, and all of a sudden, here comes the trash.
Right.
The parade of trash is coming in.
Right.
And that was when I'd made up my mind, we got to go. We figured we'd stay there for the winter and then move on.
Yeah.
We weren't there 4 months and had to go.
Yeah.
You just can't. It depends on what you're willing to put up with. I'm not willing to put up with it.
Right.
That's not what we're used to.
Right.
And I wouldn't recommend it to anybody.
No.
At all.
No. Well, it's most definitely not a relaxing vacation spot.
No.
For sure.
No.
And there isn't anything that you would, want to enjoy on the spot either. Mm-hmm. And then to even get out of the spot to go and enjoy the rest of Hot Springs, especially right now, which is beyond her control. I mean, they're doing a lot of construction on Highway 7 to expand it, which needs to be done.
Yeah.
And that is beyond her control. Mm-hmm. But I would imagine once that expansion is done, it's going to be even harder to get out of that park.
Oh, yeah.
It's right before a bridge, which made it hard to begin with to get out of there. And it's right on a curve that is also going over a small hill. Mm-hmm. So, seeing somebody coming is really hard too.
Yep.
So.
And the speed limit through that particular area is 55 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And trying to get out of there with an RV is a real trick.
Right.
All
it's
you can
dangerous.
do is hope and pray somebody doesn't crest that hill as you're pulling out.
Right. And there's been a lot of lives lost on that stretch of road.
Yeah.
So, it was a very disappointing thing. And I haven't even told Aaliyah that we're not there. And she was excited to go there. So, in the particular park we're in right now, there is not a pool. So I would imagine we're going to be doing the Magic Springs thing, which I hate. Not that Magic Springs is bad. It's just she likes to go to the water park, and we all know how I feel about bathing suits. I hate them.
Oh, I'll go with her.
I hate them. So, yeah, she loves to go in the water and, splash and everything. And, well, I also have an issue about being in natural sun too long.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So, I'm not supposed to be out there so long, and she, she can be out there all day and not have a problem.
Right.
So, she's not going to be so pleased about not having a pool. But what can you do? I couldn't put her in there. I couldn't put her in that environment, and the young lady that was closest to us, I could not let her hang out with her.
No.
Because of the parents. So there was just nothing I could do about that. Yeah. So what I can do is try and make it fun here too, and maybe do some fun things around here. Although there's not a whole lot of kids here. This is mainly a retirement thing, but
with a few kids.
With a few kids. There's a cute little baby down the road.
Oh yes, yes, cute little baby.
So, but in the meantime, trying to save the trailer. Who knows? If I don't hear from the attorney or from the insurance tomorrow, I'm going to just go ahead and hire an attorney and let the attorney take it over.
Looking like that's what you're going to have to do.
Yeah.
I knew this thing was going to be a disaster.
Yeah. So, really, there was, in the timeline of everything that happens, I've gone over it several times. I did my due diligence.
Yes.
I turned off the water when I left. There was no reason for her to turn the water on. When I left, she had already informed me that they had fixed the spigot and that I was in the wrong spigot, so they had moved my spigot. And when I came and checked the trailer, that's when I found the leak. I turned it off. So her guy who fixed the spigot did not come back over and fix the spigot. She was the one that killed the ants, and so she was the next person to touch the spigot. So in those terms, being the last one to touch the spigot, had to be the one that turned the spigot on. So, which would be the reason when you hear our conversation, mine and Kathy's conversation, to
which I will vouch, it is extremely interesting and very interesting listening.
yeah. But when you hear that, it pretty much sounds like she's, she knows she's in the wrong. And,
well, of course. Of course.
I don't give in to her bullying because she's trying to bully me. And I stay cool for the most part. There's about a 5-second where I'm just sick of her telling me what I'm saying.
You kept your cool a lot easier than what I would have.
Well, I did get a little sniffy there when I suggested I go to her house and do her plumbing.
Sniffy wouldn't have been the word I'd have used for what I'd have done. We'll leave it at that. I'm a happy camper, but don't cross me.
Well, I'm used to dealing with people like her.
Yeah.
And
now, and speaking of her, keep in mind, this is the same woman who a week before brought us a photocopy of our Western Union money order, folks. Money order, now, that was purchased at the local grocery store for rent, brought us a photocopy from her bank, in which I still have a copy of it, and proceeded to literally throw it at my husband in the trailer on a Sunday morning at 7:30 and said, "Your check bounced, you will take care of this tomorrow, and you will owe me $10 more."
Right.
And the whole time my husband kept trying to tell her, "I didn't write you a check. That's not a check, that's a money order."
Money order.
Well, this went on for 3 days, and I was not going to deal with her, so luckily the store's corporate office and the Western Union people are the ones that dealt with her to explain to her that she needed to go check her bank out.
Yeah.
Because this was an error at her bank.
Yep.
A money order is treated like cash. You cannot get them until you pay for them.
Right.
So, that's the way that one went. So, yes, there's an issue with this woman.
Yeah.
Very serious issue.
She is not American born, which I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that I think there's a disconnect in understanding how some things work, and I don't think she helped with the business when the husband was alive.
Not, from what I heard, no, she didn't. She
I think
didn't
the
have
husband,
anything to do with it.
I think the husband ran it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's some sort of learning curve for her, and I took that into consideration when I was dealing with her, and then also having a background with dealing with Slavic people, because I have Slavic people in my family. I also took that into consideration. And then I took into consideration the type of people she's dealing with,
Right.
and who's talking to her ear. And having dealt with people like that in my past, knowing what kind of, to put it in because I don't have any other term for it, bullshit that they're feeding her, and she has no other bearing to understand. I, just basically figure, she's being told that she's being used, and I'm after her for all her money, and, and that's where she was coming from when I called her, you know. But she told me, when she called me and told me about the flooding, that let her know about the damages. And I reminded her of that on the phone call.
Right.
And she kept trying to tell me I wanted to go to the most expensive person, and I kept telling her I went to the only 2 people that were available. If she knew anybody else, let me know. And I would most gladly take their bids.
Right. And she didn't let you know.
And she didn't let me know, but she doesn't know anybody. So I suggested that she goes to her dude and see if he knew anybody, because she has a maintenance guy that is from here. She's not from here. She's from Chicago, and then she's from just outside of Hungary somewhere.
Right. So,
she knows as much about this place as I do, even though she's lived here longer. So, those are considerations that you do have to think about when you are dealing with people like that. And sometimes it's hard to keep that in the back of your mind when you're being yelled at by them and being told that you're trying to take advantage of them. But, if you can keep your head and just keep repeating yourself, you know,
Right.
and sometimes you have to talk over them because if you don't, you're going to lose it on them, which is why I was talking over a couple of times because if I didn't, I was going to lose it on her. But because it angers me to have people sit there and tell me this is what I'm saying when, you know, it's totally unfair and that's not what I'm saying. Because, I mean, it was. I mean, her claiming that I was trying to, you know, say that her guy wasn't good enough. And that's not what I was saying. I was just saying he wasn't qualified
No.
to work. He worked on mobile homes.
But
mobile homes.
he is not a state-approved or certified RV tech.
Exactly.
So therefore, they can't touch these. The insurance company
Right.
is going to require somebody with a license
Exactly.
to be doing the work in here.
Right.
And that's what she
Right.
couldn't comprehend.
Exactly. And it's not hard to be a certified RV tech. You know, there's several companies out there. In fact, there's the RV Host group that does classes that it's like $1,600. And I know that's a lot of money for a lot of people, but in actuality, it isn't
Yeah.
for what you can get in return.
Right.
Because there isn't a lot of RV techs out there. But if you are a traveler, you know, and if you're like a camp host or something like that, and you're going from one camp to another, and you happen to be a certified RV tech, you can make some serious cash.
Yeah.
Because there is always somebody coming in that needs something done.
Yep.
You know, and it's like I need I need the motor changed on my
blower
AC.
motor.
Yeah, on my AC done too. And through this accident, we've also found something else that's wrong that's going to have to be fixed. So that is something to think about if you're thinking about going into being a camp host, which we're going to do because I talked to my friends about coming in and letting me do an interview when everything's settled down because they are camp hosts, and we're going to have an interview on that, and I'm going to write down some questions on how they got into it, why they decided to do to it, why did you decide to do to it?
Yep.
And what they found in experiencing that, and why they keep doing it, because I think it's really fascinating, and I think, you know, if I still had a car or a truck, I probably, because of some of the things I've looked into, I think it would be something, you know, once I found somebody that would travel with me, I think it would be something I would really love to do, because we all know I like to travel, and I love meeting people all over the place. So, but yeah, we're gonna have an in-depth conversation with them about that. So if you guys can think of any questions too, type them in there in my little messages down there, and we can ask them too. I'll probably put a little blib up so that you guys know when we're gonna do it. So maybe you guys can also type in and while we're doing the broadcast, so that way if you have something you would like to ask while we're interviewing, they can address it right then and there. That would be awesome too.
Yeah.
So and we can post that up on the Facebook page too, so that way you guys can jointly see that it's going to happen there. The live feed won't be on Facebook, but you'll be able to see the event that it'll be coming up, and then come over here and see it on that. So if you like what you see, be sure to do like a thumbs up. And if you'd like to send anything on snail mail, you can do that by writing to P.O. Box 24, Edwards, Mississippi 39066, to the Boho baby or the Boho granny. And sometimes the baby is me, but right now I'm the granny. Or you can email me at chotiagirl@gmail.com. Or you can find us on Facebook on the Boho Granny. And then you can always find us here. Remember,